Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another first impression / makeup tutorial. Today we're going to be trying the brand new Too Faced Clover palette, which I will say packaging is adorable. I'm kind of a fan of this cutesy, cheesy stuff with, it's got like ice cream cones on it. It has a strawberry, which if you didn't know, I'm quite partial to strawberries. I just like love them. Not even the food, just like how they look in like pictures of them. My friends always buy me little like strawberry keychains or like a strawberry headband. I don't know. I love strawberries, so I think that's adorable. And of course you got the famous Clover on there, which is the Too Faced dog. You have a narwhal, it's cute. Rainbow, it's cute. Candy, it's cute. I just realized that the dog's butt says yes, like, all right, sure. This is what it looks like when you open it up. I will just say, oh, Jesus. So this is what it looks like when you open it up, and I will say that one of my shadows is completely like coming out. Here it is up close. I'm sure you'll notice right here in the corner where my finger is, one of my shadows came loose. It came falling out, so that of course will be super annoying if you're buying yours and if the shadows are loose. So I would just say when you're in store, if you're purchasing this, check your palette before you buy it. You don't even have to open it yourself because you don't want them to think you're trying to steal or something. I would go to the counter and be like, I want to purchase this, but do you mind if I look inside so I can make sure none of the shadows are loose, because I've seen that they have been loose in other palettes. And just go ahead and check yours before you go home and you're like, oh my god, no, why did I do this? Why didn't I check? So yeah, just putting that out there, you might want to check. As far as just first glance color impressions, to me, I really love the color selection in this palette. You have the matte black, which I personally always require. You have a good amount of color, a great amount of neutrals, you have a ton of mattes, and then also some shimmers. So I do think there's a nice variety of color in this palette. I'm pretty happy with it. To some people, it can be really bothersome when there's like a whole different array of color in the palettes. Like some people prefer just like a palette of neutrals and then a palette of colorful colors, because you might not typically use the purples and the yellows and all of that. But I personally think it's kind of nice to have them all in one, just so you can really play around if you want to. You don't have to buy two palettes just to have a freaking purple and a brown, you know what I mean? So that could vary on depending your own tastes. You might disagree with me on that, and that's totally cool, like NBD. Yeah, let's go ahead and start playing with this thing. By the way, I'm a little sick. You might tell in this video I'm a little sniffly, and my under eye area is just a mess. I just look like crepey and dry, so I apologize, but I feel so helpless when I'm not filming. I feel worthless. Like, I don't know how, and this is no shade, but I really don't know how some YouTubers go weeks without filming, because there's no other purpose in my life other than to make videos, so it just seems crazy to not film for weeks at a time. I could never do it. I would be so just, I mean, some of them are working on makeup lines, so I get that. That, I'm sure, is a lot of work. However, if you're a YouTuber, you better be filming, baby. You better be cranking them out. So anyway, so first off, right off the bat, I want to go into the shade Chihuahua. This is my Sigma Beauty E35 blending brush. And right off the bat, I'm going to start blending this into my crease as our transition shade. And I don't have any sticky icky primer on. Not that it's icky, I'm just saying sticky icky. I'm just a rapper, you know, I quit my job. I'm coming out with my first single. It's going to be called Playboy Bunny. I'm kidding. But I did put on my foundation and concealer and all that, and I blended my concealer onto my lid and then just set it with a bit of powder, so that's pretty much all I need for a primer. So far, so good. Chihuahua does seem nicely pigmented. I'm just working that all around the socket of my eye, blending up to the brow bone. I really like this color. I like it. I like this color. I know it's simple, it's basic, let's be real. However, I like the tone of it. There's a little bit of a yellow I'm seeing in there. I like it. Where do we go from here? Funny little detail, not that it matters at all. I just think I don't normally see that. The shade names are on top of the eyeshadow instead of the bottom. Like a lot of time you'll see the shade name underneath it, but the shade names are on top. Next, I'm going to go into the shade Cuddle Buddy with my F63 brush from Sigma. And I'm going to go ahead and pop that on the outer V. Okay. Blending it into the crease. I don't quite know what I'm doing yet with this look. Oh, girl's getting fallout. I should have put some freaking translucent powder under my eyes. Lord, I hope that like goes away later. I hope I can sweep it away. I should be fine. Oh god, a lot of fallout with this color. Exhibit A. Trying to make sure it's all off my brush, but it's kind of one of those ones that I feel like I need to go in with more shadow and build up, because on its own it was kind of too sheer. Just off my first impression. And just kind of, but it's blending really nicely. I'm just kind of blending as I go. Alright, this shadow's making me a little nervous. I kind of want to put some translucent under my eyes real quick. Alright, I know I look like a clown, but hopefully that will catch any shadow that kind of falls down. Still just adding another layer of that Cuddle Buddy, because I wanted that to be pretty opaque out here. The palette does have a lot of kickback, when you put your brush in the shadow, it does get quite powdery. So I think that's kind of why I'm struggling a tad bit with this darker shade. It's not even a struggle. It's just you're going to have to be mindful when using it that you're probably going to have a bit of fallout, and you might have to go over it a few times, layer it to get it to be truly opaque, because I can see some patches still showing through. Oh, look at that fallout. Ah. I'm taking that blending brush we're using in the beginning just to smooth over those edges. The fallout. Ugh. Just to show you guys all the kickback from that shadow. I will say it's not as bad as Modern Renaissance. However, it's there. It is there for sure. From here, I want to go into the shade Fur Baby. This is my E45 blender brush. And I want to build this up still in that upper crease, but more on the inside. I just want to add another little layer of color, kind of deepening that. So just a few little strokes back and forth. This one again seems just a little powdery, but I don't hate it. It's nothing like I haven't seen before, and it's not like it's not workable, you know what I mean? It's really not that bad, but it is a little powdery. I like this color though. So much fallout. Where do we go from here? Ooh, ooh, where do we go from here? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm being drawn to this Rut shade. It's kind of like a shimmery burgundy. So first, before we use that color, I want to prep my lids with the Ardell Irresistible Eye Pencil. This is in the shade Yearning. And I just want to get a nice base to pop that shadow on top of. So I'm just going to drag this over my lid. All the way from the inner corner up to across the lid. Huh. Weirdly enough, the pencil's kind of knocking off the shadow. I don't know if that's the pencil's fault or the shadow's fault. I'm trying to touch up that burgundy that kind of left our lid. That was kind of strange. I'm kind of thinking maybe the pencil was too dry for this shadow and it kind of rubbed it right off. I don't really know. That was a little strange. Now I want to go right into the shade Rut. This is my Sigma E55 shader brush, and I'm just going to pack that right on top of our pencil. That's a very pretty color. I really like this color. The fallout. I think that's just my biggest complaint with the palette, is just the fallout. I'm going back in with Cuddle Buddy again. I'm just trying to place that over the top where that gap kind of was created from the pencil, or from, I don't know why that happened, but it looks like it's patching up nicely, so that's good. Now I can't decide if Woof is a black or a blue. It might be an extremely, extremely dark blue, or just a black with kind of blue shimmer in it. Something about it is like telling me blue now. I don't know. I think it's a black. So I'm going to pop into that with my Sigma E45 brush, and I want to pop that into that little crease point that doesn't seem to be covering up. I'm trying to not even like blend it on. I'm trying to just pack it on because I feel like I'm kind of getting that same effect I got with the freaking, what's it called? With the Subculture palette. I'm sorry. I think I said Modern Renaissance earlier and I meant Subculture. It's doing something weird, y'all. Just go in there. Go in your little home. Go in your little outer V home. It's just like really grabbing to my eye pencil and not grabbing to my lid at all. And it's getting extremely messy. I'm getting a little frustrated. Oh God, the kickback is unreal. Please just go in there and be good. Just be quiet. Just go in there and be good. I just usually don't have this many struggles with other black shadows. Like usually it just goes on your lid like bam and then it's there and that's it. No problems, but this one just seems to be grabbing funny. Let's take our handy dandy blending brush again and see if I can't get that to even out. It just is, I just hate how it's grabbing onto my pencil, even though that pencil was already set with eyeshadow. It completely covered up the eyeshadow I laid down. Okay, so the fallout is freaking insane. I'm sure you can see there's like this little gap that I cannot close whatsoever between the pencil I laid down and my lid. I don't know why nothing's sticking there, and I'm very disappointed in this freaking shadows kickback. I hope you can see the like freaking huge layer of fallout kickback there. That's a mess. I have black shadow everywhere. It's scaring the shit out of me. I don't own my house, so I'm very careful not to get any black or any product on my carpet, and I just feel like this is a mess waiting to happen. I mean, it's all over me. I was really liking the palette up until this point. This color has been quite tricky. I don't quite know what to do to make this work. I'm switching to a pencil brush to see if I can just pop it in there to get that to smooth out color-wise. It just does not even want to grab onto it. Nope. I'm disappointed in that. I am. So I'm going to take more of this pencil with a little concealer brush. This is also by Sigma. It's from their titanium line. Anytime you see me use the silver handles, it's from their titanium collection. I'm going to patch this up in that little section to see if the black will then grab to that. Maybe it needed a little base, I'm not sure. That gap is still there. So, okay, I think it's officially official. I don't like the black shadow. I wish I wouldn't have used that. I think it kind of made it a mess. I'm trying to figure out what to do at this point. I'm gonna go back in with Cuddle Buddy, the original maroon shade, and just try to cover up that whole fiasco, because I did like that shadow. I did like Cuddle Buddy. So maybe we'll just, yeah, I think that's actually kind of fixing it in a way. I don't know, that weird line gap thing is still kind of there, but I don't think it's as noticeable as it was with the black shadow. And you guys, I don't want the black shadow to sway your minds on this palette if you really liked it or really wanted to get your hands on it, because I will say, I know a lot of you say that you don't use black shadow that often, so it might not even be a problem for you. You might have never even touched that shadow, you know? It might not be the biggest deal in the world for you, so I would still maybe give it a try. Like I said, I really did like all the other shadows. Just that one was a little bit of trouble, and there is a lot of kickback in the palette. I'm just kind of trying to marry this into that whole, I know we're getting quite dark, quite dramatic. I didn't want to go this smoky, but I'm trying to fix it at this point. I just wish that freaking hole there would go away. It's like, no matter how hard I try, I just can't get anything to go in there. And that's like your crease. That's not a good look. Don't put on your foundation and concealer before using this palette. I really should not have done that. I thought it'd be okay, but nope. I'm gonna spritz a brush now and just kind of touch up that Rutro shade, the metallic one we used on the lid, just because it kind of got mangled and swept away in all this madness. And I did like that color, so just want to pop that back on and save face with that a bit. Putting that all over the lid, and I'm kind of covering up the black that was so attracted to that pencil. It's not the end of the world. I think we might be able to save this look. It won't be perfect. It won't be one of my best ever, but I don't think it's terrible. I'm actually going to take that metallic. I'm going to bring it up farther than I normally do, and I'm going to try to use that to cover up that gap. Just go right over it. We're extending our lids today, fam. Bringing that up much higher than it was. See, and that kind of really worked, and I kind of like how that looks, so no big deal. I don't want to go out and diss the palette and say it's crap, because I don't think it is. I think in every palette there's a few shades that aren't so great. Literally, in every palette. There's shades I don't like. In my Anastasia palettes, in my Sigma palettes, in my, you know, in my Tarte palettes. Not every shade's always a winner for me, so if that's the case, then so be it. My under eye is looking super funky. How can I fix this? There's black shadow everywhere. I hate when this happens with palettes. I literally have to take the trash can and I have to shake that off into the trash can because I don't want it getting on my carpet. I don't want it falling on my clothes. That was a mess, and it looks like really dipped into. I'd stay away from that black shadow. I'm going to jump into the shade Puppy Eyes, which is a white with shimmer sparkle in it. And I'm going to pop some of that on my brow bone here to highlight and pop that out a bit, because this got a lot more smoky than I was expecting. And that's okay. You guys know I love a smoky. But I was trying to do something slightly more wearable for you. Not even wearable, but like just fun, festive, holiday glam. Not that we can't still do that. I don't want you guys to get the impression that I hate this palette. I really don't. I think that black shadow really threw me for a loop. But other than that, I like it a lot. I know a lot of you who have already purchased it, and I don't want you to be disappointed and think you can't work it, because I think we're working it just fine. I think we're saving it. Again, I would avoid the black unless you were going to do like an all over black smoky eye and you were going to lay down a base, like a liner or a pencil for it, and just then I think it would coat on just fine. But for some reason that black shadow doesn't really want to adhere to skin or to other shadow, which happens a decent amount of time in palettes, because I think black shadow actually is not that cheap to make. I think to make a really good black shadow costs a bit of coin, and when you have all these shades in here, I think sometimes black's not your main focus or the brand's focus, you know? I don't know. I could be talking out my wazoo, who knows? I'm going to take a bit of, this is my e.l.f. Active Spray I'm gonna spritz my brush with that. This is the E34 utility brush. And I'm gonna take my shadow that kind of like fell out of my palette. This is in the shade Cuteness Overload. That's adorable. Get that a little damp. And I wanna pop that on my inner corner. Ooh, that's really pretty. See, I really like this shade. Ooh, I love the glow on this shade. Just brighten up this inner corner because this is so dark and sooty, which I love. It's super grunge, like my heart, but I like a little glamour in there as well. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful glow? I really, really like that color. See, there's some gems in here. There are. I'm going to take this NYX Faux Black eyeliner. This is in the shade Burnt Sienna. I'm obsessed with the NYX Cosmetics Faux Black line and Faux White liner line. They're really cool. And this one's like a burgundy. It's gorgeous. I think it's going to match our look really well. So I just want to tight line with this. I'm also going to blend that in with my finger. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear the geese outside. I have a little lake outside my apartment and there's geese in there all the time and it sounds like they're laughing at me. They're like, ah, 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 ah. I freaking love them. Alok and I laugh all freaking night because like one of us will say a joke and like the other one won't think it's very funny and then we'll hear a goose go like, ah, 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 ah. And I'm like, well, at least he thinks I'm funny. We're now going to jump into the shade Cuddle Buddy. This is the E15 brush from Sigma. It has the fun glitter handle. And let's smoke that into that lower lash line. See, and I love this shade Cuddle Buddy. This is such a beautiful color. It's like not too dark, it's beautiful, it's very rich. So there definitely are some gems to me in this palette. I'd actually really love to try this Cuddle Bunny shade. I keep calling it Cuddle Bunny. It's Cuddle Buddy. I would love to try Cuddle Buddy with this shade on my inner corner. I think that would just be, so pretty, so pretty. I love it. BT dubs, thank you to everyone who's helping me and Alok figure out our wedding hashtag. No, there's no wedding date yet and we don't even have a venue. We don't have anything. I don't even have a dress, but it's fun just dreaming about it. Every time I fall in love with a venue, it is booked. There's something about the West Coast and the East Coast where weddings are effing crazy and people book like years and years and years in advance, and I have a specific date, well, I have a specific month that I really would like the wedding to take place on is already booked for September for the weekends. You can get like a Thursday or a Wednesday or a Sunday, but I don't want any of those dates, so we'll see. I'm in no rush though. I'm having fun. It's so fun being engaged. Like, I love being engaged probably more than I'll love being married. I've always said that, like, the engagement part is the fun part, then comes all the marriage work. I mean, Alok and I have been together since pretty much my senior year of high school, so we've already been through a shit ton, so I'm really in no rush to get married. We're here. It is what it is. But we're still having fun, just like, you know, just like dreaming about it and thinking of little silly things like the hashtag and whatnot. I don't know. But again, thank you for those who chimed in and were thinking of hashtags with us. Gosh, I can't get this freaking gross under eye to go away. Like, I haven't even picked my bridesmaids yet because, as you guys know, I've just having some difficulty with friends in my personal life. It's so weird because I've really never had trouble with friends ever. And then, of course, the year I'm engaged and all this is supposed to be happening, I'm having like fallouts left and right. It's unreal. I'm gonna take my little Galactic Beauty black liquid liner and I'm gonna go ahead and do a wing, baby. Excuse me. I'm going a little more dramatic than I normally would because I'm kind of still trying to cover up those gaps from that shadow. So yeah, that is quite dramatic, isn't it? See, this is not a bad makeup look in my general opinion. I think it's still very pretty. I'm not in the mood for false lashes, not after all that mess. So I'm gonna take my Lancome Grandiose mascara. Sorry, my strapless brow just fell down my boobies. I only need a few coats of this mascara because it's freaking fantastic. I know this video is about the eyes really, but I kind of want to finish out the face with you guys because I think that's fun. I need a brush. I'm going to take the Sigma Small Duo Fiber and some bronzer out of my Shapeshifter palette by Urban Decay. That's actually the darker one. And I'm going to just pop this on the forehead, which I already had, but I got a little shadow up here somehow, so I'm kind of trying to cover that up, I guess. It's like a freaking bruise on my forehead. Damn it. Who watched that Elizabeth Smart special on A&E? That was crazy. That was a good special. I mean, not good because I don't want that to, I'm sad that that happened to her, so I'm not like, oh, it was so good. But like, it was cool, like hearing it out of her mouth. I've never watched an interview with her or like heard her speak on it before. And I know she has a book out, so I think I might pick up that book too, because I think it's just crazy. And so much we could learn from her. Like, wow, what a brave, brave girl at that time. I mean, she's still brave, but you know what I mean. To be that young and deal with freaking being kidnapped and by a psychopath and all that she endured. For blush, I'm going to take Sigma's and Nymphia. It's just one of my favorites and it just works with everything. Especially like now when I'm struggling with what blush to put on. This is just usually my go-to. It's just like a nice little cute pink. I think it just gives you a real healthy flush. Oh, and how about the American Horror Story finale? Did you guys like it? I won't say any spoilers in case you haven't caught up or you're a few episodes behind or you haven't started it yet. No, life is busy, so you can't always watch it right at the time, but I liked the finale. One of my best friends, Megan, was like, that finale sucked. And I was like, it was good. What are you talking about? I don't know. I liked it. Her and I never agree on anything, though. Like, she's always complaining about stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, you're so dramatic. I'm struggling with what lip to use. I think I want to try this one by ColourPop. It's LBB Matte Formula. Lastly, before I share my final thoughts on the palette, let's just do a little bit of highlighter to finish off the look. I'm going to pop into my new Sigma Beauty Chroma Glow palette, which can't get enough of. If you've not watched my video, I did a tutorial on this palette. I used it on my eyes, on my face, then I did swatches at the end of that and kind of give you all the details. I really recommend you watch that because you will be shocked at the pigmentation, and the look that I came up with was just freaking awesome. Like, look at that. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. I swear to you, no one has ever seen anything like this from Sigma before. They are really changing the game with their products. They are really amping it up. Like, look at that glow. And they have a lot more coming. So I'm really excited to share with you guys some stuff coming up. Pop a little bit of this on the cheekies. Oh, this is the shade Peaceful. And it's the most like neutral one of the palette. I love this color so much, just glow. And of course on the tip of the nose and down the center. Lastly, let's set it all in. So real quick, let's go over my final thoughts about the Clover palette. Is it adorable? Yes. Did I get a cute look out of it? Yes. Were there some problem shadows? Yes. As long as I live on this earth, I will never touch this shadow ever I get. I'm disappointed in it. It had so much fallout. It wasn't sticking to my lid. It was grabbing to areas that I didn't want it to go. It truly reminded me of Subculture without being as soft as Subculture was. It just is lacking pigmentation. It's just not that pigmented, and I just kept trying to build it up and it wasn't working. It was a mess. Literally, it was a mess. There's black shadow everywhere. However, I absolutely love Cuddle Buddy. I love Rut-Row, the main lid shade, and I love this shadow, even though mine was falling out of my palette. This one's called, again, Cuteness Overload. It's a great shadow. You can see right on my inner eyes there. It gives a beautiful glow. I loved it. I also loved these two mattes up here. They did a great job. Overall, I do really like the palette. I think it's a pretty cute little decent palette. Is it the best I've ever used? No. Is it the worst I've ever used? Definitely not. I like it. I do like it. Will I reach for it a ton? I kind of might, because I'm just most crazy about the mattes in this palette. I think that's what it comes down to. The mattes I loved. I still want to try the yellow. I'll never touch the black again, like I said. I really want to try this shade here. There are a lot of cute shades in here I really am interested in. So I do think I will continue to use this palette. If I purchased it, would I regret it? Because again, I was sent it in PR. I don't think I would regret purchasing it because it is really cute, and I do really love, and I don't just mean like cute to look at. I love the color layout. I love the color selection. I was able to create a pretty decent glamorous look with this makeup. I like it, you guys. I like the palette. Is it anything we haven't seen before? No. Honestly, what is these days? I like it. Probably from an A to B to C to D type of scale, I would maybe give it a B- or a C+. That's the rating I would probably give this palette, just because mine did come a little broken. There was a shadow that was falling out, so that kind of suggests it was cheaply made. Same with the black shadow being very difficult to work with. That also kind of says might be a little bit cheap, and the palette itself is not necessarily cheap. It's not super expensive, but it's not super cheap either. Kind of, it's just average. It's an average palette to me. I will reach for it again, but it won't probably be the first palette I reach for. However, I could see myself wanting to use these specific shades again, and I really want to try this one too. And I think I'll use this again in another tutorial because I do have some other shades I wanted to play with. I liked it, you guys. I really don't have anything that bad to say about it except for the fallout, the kickback, and I was disappointed in the black shadow, and this shadow was falling out when I received it. So it did have some downside to it, but I don't think it's all bad. I do really like the look we were able to achieve. And just because there's a few sour shades in the whole palette doesn't mean the whole palette is trash. Absolutely at all. Like I was saying before, in pretty much every palette I own, there's at least 2 or 3 shades I don't like. That's in all brands, all palettes I have. I'm never satisfied with 100% of the shades. And that is the same in this case, because there are still a ton of shades in this palette I really, really liked. And I will want to use again for sure. So those are my final thoughts. I really don't have much else to say. I would definitely recommend you guys go into the store, play around with it yourself, and see if you think it's worth you purchasing. Again, I do think you'll be able to come up with some really pretty looks with this palette. Do I think it's absolutely necessary because it is limited edition? No, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's something you absolutely have to have unless you're like me and you like to collect the limited edition packaging, and I'm a huge fan of Clover and I love Too Faced, I really do. So again, I hope no one from Too Faced is watching this and thinking that I'm bashing them or anything like that. Not that I'm that concerned either, because I've been taken off PR lists before. It won't be the last time, I'm sure. But I mean no disrespect by these words. I just want to steer my followers in the right way with their own money. So yeah, it's just average to me, you guys. It's a nice, decent, average palette. Is it my favorite? No. Is it the worst? No. Will I use it again? Yes, I will. And I think I could probably get some good looks out of it as long as I avoid the matte black shade, which isn't completely matte. There is some glitter in there, so I don't know if that's why. Is it like the glitter adhesive in the shadow that's making it difficult to work with? I don't know, because I have a ton of Too Faced palettes where I love the black in it, so I don't know. It's cutesy. It's cutesy dootsy. I think it'd be a fun little palette to get like your nieces, your cousins, your friend's daughter, your best friend's kid, you know, whatever. It's a cutesy palette. For a pet owner even, it's cutesy, and it's fun receiving it as a gift because you don't feel as guilty buying like yellows and pinks and purples that you won't traditionally wear. Like, you don't feel the guilt for buying it for yourself if you buy it from somebody else. I don't know. I think it's a cute gift idea, and again, I love Clover, so it is adorable. That's really all I feel about this, you guys. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this look. Pretty sure I've had lipstick on my teeth throughout this whole segment. Anyways, that's it for me today, you guys. I love you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye!